Imagine being stranded 1,500 miles from the nearest human settlement, with no airport, no harbor that can handle large ships, and your only connection to the outside world being a boat that comes maybe 6 times a year. Well, 250 people actually choose to live this way, and that's just number 7 on our list. Before we dive in, I want you to guess. What do you think is the maximum distance humans live from the nearest neighbor? Drop your guess in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer at number 1. Trust me, you're going to be way off. Today, we're exploring the 10 most isolated places where humans actually live permanently. We'll discover places so remote, they create their own weather patterns. Locations where Amazon Prime would take 8 months to deliver. And a place so isolated, it has a population of exactly 1. Make sure to stick around for number 1. It's so isolated, it doesn't even appear on most world maps. If you love geography and mind-blowing facts like this, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. We post content like this every week. 10. Alert, Canada. Starting at number 10, we have Alert, Canada, the northernmost permanently inhabited place on Earth. But here's the crazy part. It's not just remote, it's Arctic remote. Located just 508 miles from the North Pole. Closer to Moscow than to Toronto. Population, 5 permanent residents, military personnel. No sunrise for 4 months, no sunset for 4 months. Temperature drops to 40 degrees regularly. Here's what makes Alert truly isolated. There are no roads connecting it to anywhere. Anywhere. The only way in or out is by military aircraft, and even that's weather dependent. The residents here literally live in complete darkness for a third of the year. Alert serves as a weather station and military listening post. Fun fact, the internet here is so limited that streaming a single Netflix episode would use their entire monthly data allowance. Comment darkness if you think you could survive 4 months without seeing the sun. Nakil, Supai, Arizona, USA. Go. Number 9 will shock you because it's actually in the United States. But Amazon can't deliver here, Uber doesn't exist, and the mail still arrives by Mule. Welcome to Supai, Arizona, home to the Supai tribe and the only place in the US where mail is still delivered by pack animals. 8 miles hike from nearest road. Population, 208 people. No cars, no roads, no cell service. Helicopter is the only motorized transport. Last place in US to get zip code, 1963. The Supai have lived here for over 800 years. And they're not just isolated by choice, they're isolated by geography. The village sits at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, surrounded by 3,000-foot cliffs on all sides. Here's the weird part. They have a school, a post office, and even a cafe. But if you want to visit, you need to hike 8 miles, carrying everything you need, or pay $85 per person for a 7-minute helicopter ride. Would you trade your smartphone and car for this kind of natural paradise? Let me know. Say 8. Coober Pedy, Australia. Number 8 looks like Mars, feels like Mars, and the people literally live underground like they're preparing for Mars. Coober Pedy, Australia. Population 700, where 80% of residents live in underground homes carved out of rock. Dive 225 miles from nearest major city, Adelaide. Surface temperature reaches 120 degrees, 50 degrees. Known as the opal capital of the world, underground churches, hotels and shops. People here don't live underground by choice initially. They live underground to survive. The surface is so hot and barren that early opal miners just started digging homes into the hillsides, and the tradition stuck. Has underground golf course. No grass, just dirt and oil. Road signs warn of unmarked mine shafts. Most homes maintain 70-75 degrees year-round naturally. Filmed location for Mad Max movies. The isolation here is so complete that NASA actually uses this area to test Mars rovers because it's the closest thing to Mars on Earth. Quick poll: underground house or traditional house? Comment U for underground, T for traditional. 7. Tristan da Cunha, South Atlantic. Number 7 is so isolated, it holds the Guinness World Record. And when I tell you how isolated it is, you won't believe humans actually chose to live here. Tristan da Cunha, the most remote inhabited archipelago in the world. The nearest land with people? 700 miles away. The nearest continent? Wasagu 750 miles. 250 residents, all sharing just 7 last names. Everyone is related to everyone. No unemployment. Everyone has a job by necessity. No crime. Seriously, no police needed. Here's how isolated this is. Their internet comes from a satellite connection so slow that loading YouTube takes 10 minutes. Mail arrives 8-10 times per year by boat. If you have a medical emergency requiring surgery, you might wait 6 months for the next boat. The isolation has created a completely unique culture. They have their own accent, their own traditions, and they actually had to evacuate the entire population in 1961 due to a volcanic eruption. They all moved to England, hated it, and moved back. Want to move here? You can't. It's impossible to immigrate to Tristan da Cunha. The only way to become a resident is to marry someone who's already from there. 6. Pitcairn Island, Pacific Ocean. Number 6 has a population of just 47 people, and every single one of them is descended from one of history's most famous mutinies. Pitcairn Island, home to the descendants of the HMS Bounty mutineers from 1789. When Fletcher Christian and his crew mutinied against Captain Bligh, this is where they ended up. Their nearest populated land, one Sansu, 350 miles away. Total area, just 2 square miles. Population 47 and declining. No airport, no regular shipping schedule. This place is so isolated that they're literally running out of people. The population peaked at 233 in 1937, but young people keep leaving and never coming back. At the current rate, the island might be uninhabited by 2045. Everyone knows everyone's business. Literally impossible not to. They have their own internet domain, PN. The government is desperately offering free land to attract new residents. School has 8 students total, all ages, in one classroom. How do they survive economically? Honey and postage stamps. Seriously. Their main exports are Pitcairn honey, considered some of the purest in the world, and collectible stamps for philatelists. Would you move to a place with 47 people for free land and complete isolation? Honest thoughts in the comments? 5. McMurdo Station, Antarctica. Number 5 isn't just isolated from civilization, it's isolated from life itself. We are talking about the driest, coldest, windiest continent on Earth. McMurdo Station, Antarctica. The largest research station in Antarctica. With a summer population of 1,200 and winter population of just 150. 850 miles from nearest non-Antarctic land. 6 months of complete darkness. Temperatures drop to 40 degrees regularly. Wind speeds exceed 100 feet humidity, often 0%, drier than most deserts. This place is so hostile to life that they have to import everything. Food, fuel, building materials, even dirt for growing plants. Nothing grows here naturally, except some bacteria and lichen. The isolation here isn't just physical, it's psychological. During winter, the same 150 people are stuck together for 6 months with no possibility of leaving. They actually have a full-time psychiatrist because winter rover syndrome is a real thing. Has its own post office, annual music festival, ice fest, ATM machine, southernmost in the world, coffee shops, and a bowling alley. Here's something crazy. McMurdo has its own time zone. But it's not based on longitude. It's based on New Zealand time, because that's where their supply flights come from. Chat 4. Longyearbyen, Svalbard, Norway. Number 4 is so isolated and extreme that it's literally illegal to die there. Longyearbyen, Svalbard, the northernmost town in the world where dying is illegal, giving birth is illegal, and you're required by law to carry a rifle outside town. A sunset is set 150 miles from mainland Norway. 4 months of complete darkness. Population 2,100. No roads connect to anywhere else on Earth. The rifle law isn't a joke. Polar bears outnumber humans here, and they regularly wander into town. The no dying law exists because bodies don't decompose in the permafrost. So if you're terminally ill, they fly you to mainland Norway. During polar night, the sun doesn't rise for 4 months. But during polar day, it doesn't set for 4 months either. Imagine trying to sleep when it's bright daylight at midnight for months. Despite being incredibly isolated, Longyearbyen has some of the best internet in Norway, a university, and even hosts electronic music festivals. Oh, and it's home to the Global Seed Vault, humanity's agricultural backup plan. No one is actually from Longyearbyen. Everyone is there, temporarily for work or research. You can't retire there, you can't be unemployed there, and if you lose your job, you have to leave. Number 3. Easter Island, Rapa Nui, Chile. Number 3 is famous worldwide, but what most people don't know is that it's one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. And the isolation nearly caused one of history's greatest mysteries, Easter Island, 2,300 miles from the nearest populated land. To put that in perspective, it's more isolated than the International Space Station is from Earth. The isolation here literally shaped one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. The famous Moai statues weren't just art. They were created by a civilization that was completely cut off from the rest of the world for over 1,000 years. Here's the shocking part. The island's isolation led to complete ecological collapse. The Rapa Nui people cut down every single tree on the island, leading to societal collapse, warfare, and population decline from 15,000 to just 3,000 people. All supplies must be flown in from Chile. One hospital, one school, one bank. Internet is satellite-based and unreliable. Tourism is both their lifeline and their biggest threat. Recent discoveries show that the Moai statues actually have full bodies buried underground. The isolation preserved these artifacts in ways that wouldn't have been possible anywhere else. Today, about 6,000 people live here, but only about 60% are actually Rapa Nui natives. The rest are Chilean mainlanders and researchers. And 2, Kerguelen Islands, French Southern Territories. Number 2 is so isolated and harsh that it's nicknamed Desolation Island. And the only permanent residents are a scientist who probably lost a bet. The Kerguelen Islands, 2,000 miles from the nearest populated land, 1,300 miles from the nearest other landmass of any kind. This is true middle of nowhere. Constant 40 plus mph winds. Temperatures rarely above 60 degrees, even in summer. 300 plus days of precipitation per year. No trees, just endless tundra. Population varies between 4,510 people, all researchers and support staff. No one lives here permanently by choice. Everyone is on temporary assignments, usually 14 months maximum, because longer stays affect mental health. The isolation has created a unique ecosystem. There are no native land mammals, but it's home to millions of seabirds and seals. It's like a nature preserve at the end of the world. Captain James Cook discovered these islands in 1776 and called them Desolation Islands because they were so barren. The name stuck unofficially for good reason. Despite the harsh conditions, Kerguelen is crucial for climate research, astronomy, and studying how life adapts to extreme isolation. The research done here helps us understand both Earth's climate and potentially life on other planets. That 1. Boulder, Wyoming, USA. And number 1, the most isolated, permanently inhabited place on Earth, has a population of exactly 1 person, and he chose to live there. Meet Don Salmons, the sole resident of Boulder, Wyoming. His nearest neighbor, 30 miles away. The nearest town with more than 100 people are 20 miles away. Don is the mayor, postmaster, and entire population. Elevation, 7,200 feet. No cell service, no internet, no utilities. Winters regularly hit. 40 degm with 12-foot snowdrifts, Don isn't stranded there. He chooses this life. He moved there in 1980 and has maintained the ghost town ever since. He lives completely off-grid, generates his own power, and gets supplies maybe 4 times a year. His daily routine includes maintaining historic buildings, operating the post office for the few pieces of mail that arrive, and surviving in conditions that would challenge most survival experts. When asked why he stays, Don says the silence and solitude allow him to think clearly in ways impossible anywhere else. He's not running from society, he's choosing authentic solitude. This makes Don Salmons possibly the most isolated permanent human resident on the planet. He's living a lifestyle that's essentially extinct everywhere else on Earth. So remember that distance guess I asked you to make at the beginning? The answer is Don Salmons at 120 miles from the nearest real town. Did anyone get close? Which of these isolated places would you want to visit? Which one would you never want to live in? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this video blew your mind, you'll love our upcoming video about countries that disappeared overnight. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And here's a question for you. In our hyper-connected world, are places like these the last refugees of authentic human experience? Or are they just extreme examples of self-imposed exile? Let me know what you think.